Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today you will be continuing the same lesson on saying please. So in case you have not watched the first part, I request you please go back to my channel, watch it, or else you can click the link given in the description box, watch it and then see this video. And for the ones who have already watched it, let's continue with this story. It is not, therefore, with any feeling of friendliness to conductors as a class that I pay a tribute to a particular member of that class. I first became conscious of his existence one day when I jumped onto a bus and found that I had left home without any money in my pocket. Everyone has had the experience and knows the feeling, the mixed feeling, which the discovery arouses. You are annoyed because you look like a fool at the best and like a knave at the worst. You would not be at all surprised if the conductor eyed you coldly, as much as to say, "Yes, I know that stale old trick. Now then, off you get." And even if the conductor is a good fellow and lets you down easily, you are faced with the necessity of going back and the inconvenience perhaps of missing your train or your engagement. So now the writer is continuing the story. He isn't paying a tribute to a particular member of the conductors. He is just talking about their friendliness. And he first noticed or became conscious of this particular conductor was when he had one day jumped onto a bus and he had found that he had left his home without any money in his pocket. Such a feeling everyone must have felt it. The mixed feeling that we get, and we are annoyed because we will look like a fool in front of everyone. And also this conductor, he will act as if he's not surprised at all and he will just look at you coldly, stare blankly, and he will just say, "Yes, I know this old trick. Now off you get. Get on from the bus." Now, even if the conductor is a good fellow and he lets you down easily without being any rude, but still it is a problem. Why? Because you have to go back, and it also causes inconvenience because you don't have money, you have to go back again, you're wasting your time, perhaps you're going to miss your train or your engagement. Having searched my pockets in vain for stray coppers and having found I was utterly penniless, I told the conductor with an honest face, as I could assume that I couldn't pay the fare and must go back for money. "Oh, you need not get off. That's all right," said he. "All right," said I, "but I haven't a copper on me." "Oh, I will book you through," he replied. "Where do you want to go?" And he handled his bundle of tickets with the air of a man who was prepared to give me a ticket for anywhere from the bank to Hong Kong. I said it was very kind of him, and I told him where I wanted to go, and as he gave me the ticket, I said, "But where shall I send the fare?" "Oh, you will see me some day, all right," he said cheerfully, as he turned to go. And then, luckily, my fingers, still wandering in the corners of my pocket, lighted on a shilling, and the account was squared. But the fact did not lessen the glow of pleasure which so good-natured an action had given me. Now the writer was searching his pockets in vain. It was useless because he didn't have any money, but he was still searching for money. And he told the conductor with a very honest face that he didn't have any money. He couldn't pay and he must go back for money. So the conductor, he said, "You did not get off. It's okay, it's all right, no problem. You tell me where you want and I'll give you the ticket." And he showed a bundle of tickets with him, and he was ready to give a ticket for anywhere from the bank to Hong Kong. He was very kind. And this person, the author, he said he wanted to go somewhere, he told, and the conductor gave the ticket. Then again the writer, he asked, "But where shall I send the money?" Now the conductor, very cheerfully, he said, "It's all right. You will see me someday, all right? It's okay." And he turned to go. The author was still searching, and luckily he found some money in his pocket and the account was squared. It was closed. But the fact was that the pleasure that he felt that this conductor is such good natured, that was very important at that point. A few days after, my most sensitive toe was trampled on rather heavily as I sat reading on the top of a bus. I looked up with some anger and some agony and saw my friend of the cheerful countenance. "Sorry, sir," he said. "I know these are heavy boots. Got them because my own feet get trod on so much, and now I am treading on other people's. Hope I didn't hurt you, sir." He had hurt me, but he was so nice about it that I assured him he hadn't. After this, I began to observe him whenever I boarded his bus, and found a curious pleasure in the constant good nature of his bearing. He seemed to have an inexhaustible fund of patience and a gift for making his passengers comfortable. I noticed that if it was raining, he would run up the stairs to give someone the tip that there was room inside. With old people, he was as considerate as a son, and with children, as solicitous as a father. He had evidently a peculiarly warm place in his heart for young people, and always indulged in some merry jest with them. If he had a blind man on board, it wasn't enough to set him down safely on the pavement. He would call to Bill in front to wait while he took him across the road or round the corner, or otherwise safely on his way. In short, I found that he irradiated such an atmosphere of good temper and kindliness that a journey with him was a lesson in natural courtesy and good manners. Now, after few days, his most sensitive toe, it was stamped, it was trampled on by some heavy boot, and he was just sitting there and reading, and he looked up with full anger and agony with pain, and he saw that it was the same conductor, and he said, "Sorry, sir, I know these boots are very heavy, and I have got them because my own feet would get trod on. People would stamp it, and now I am stamping others. I am treading on others. I hope I didn't hurt you, sir." Now this author, he knew that he was hurt, but the conductor was so nice that he told him that he hadn't hurt him. And after this incident, he started observing the conductor, his nature, whenever he boarded the bus, and he found such a pleasure in his constant good nature. He seemed to have immense patience and a gift for making his passengers comfortable. Now the author, he started noticing him. So he realized one day that if it would rain, then he would run up the stairs to give someone the tip that there was room inside, like you can come inside, to save himself from rain. And with old people, he would act as if he was a son, and with children, he would be like a father. So he had immense kindness towards people in his heart, and he was very happy kind of person. If he would see a blind man, then it wouldn't be enough to just let him down on the pavement. He would tell Bill, the driver, to wait, and he would go and leave him across the road or round the corner, or sometimes safely on his way where he wanted to go. So he was very kind, very helpful. So the author, now he started feeling that this conductor, he irradiates, he spreads such an atmosphere of good temper and kindliness that a journey with him, it is like a lesson, practical lesson on natural courtesy and good manners. Looking at him, we can learn something from him about good manners and natural courtesy, how you have to be kind towards people. What struck me particularly was the ease with which he got through his work. If bad manners are infectious, so also are good manners. If we encounter incivility, most of us are apt to become uncivil, but it is unusually an uncouth person who can be disagreeable with sunny people. It is with manners as with the weather. Nothing clears up my spirit like a fine day, said Keats, and a cheerful person descends on even the gloomiest of us with something of the benediction of fine day. And so it was always fine weather on the polite conductor's bus, and his own civility, his conciliatory address, and good humoured bearing infected his passengers. In lightening their spirits, he lightened his own task. His gaiety was not a wasteful luxury, but a sound investment. And the author was very much shocked by the way he would work so easily. If bad manners are infectious, then also are good manners. So if we encounter incivility, most of us are apt to become uncivil. If we are across bad people, we are influenced by that bad nature. Now it is with manners as with the weather. So a person called Keats, he had stated once that nothing clears up my spirit like a fine day, and a cheerful person descends on even the gloomiest of us. Obviously, if a person is very happy and he has a good attitude, obviously his day is just fine. But if something happens, we think about something bad, then obviously how good the day is, we will still be feeling bad about it and our mood is off. So it was always a good weather, it was always good atmosphere in the polite conductor's bus, and his own nature, the way he would speak to people, the way he would show his kindness towards people, it was all very good and it was infectious. People also become good in front of him. Because of his nature, you too become good. You get influenced by the goodness of him. It is a matter of general agreement that the war has had a chilling effect upon those little everyday civilities of behavior that sweeten the general air. We must get those civilities back if we are to make life kindly and tolerable for each other. We cannot get them back by invoking the law. The policeman is a necessary symbol, and the law is a necessary institution for a society that is still somewhat lower than the angels. But the law can only protect us against material attack, nor will the liftman's way of meeting the moral affront by physical violence help us to restore the civilities. I suggest to him that he would have had a more subtle and effective revenge if he had treated the gentleman who would not say please with elaborate politeness. He would have had the victory not only over the boor but over himself, and that is the victory that counts. The polite man may lose the material advantage, but he always has the spiritual victory. I commend to the liftman a story of Chesterfield. In his time, the London streets were without the pavements of today, and the man who took the wall had the driest footing. I never give the wall to a scoundrel, said a man who met Chesterfield one day in the street. I always do, said Chesterfield, stepping with a bow into the road. I hope the liftman will agree that his revenge was much more sweet than if he had flung the fellow into the mud. The writer says that war has badly affected our manners. War has made people uncivil and boorish. He advises to restore good manners to make life a happy one. One should teach moral lessons to those who are guilty of bad manners. So from this essay you can clearly say that the distinction between what is punishable by law and what is desirable, though not punishable by law. While the law is very definite about how individuals should act, it does not have much to say about the issues of courtesy and kindness or politeness to others. So the law speaks to individuals who have been wronged, whose rights have been taken away at the hands of another. Yet, it cannot legislate manners or civility in acting towards one another. So the reality is that while it is not a perfect state, this state of law is a reasonable one because it does not enter the realm of emotions. If the law gave in to this level of emotional subjectivity, then individuals would be carrying out acts of violence each time someone demonstrated rudeness to them. In this connection, people should follow the example of Lord Chesterfield. During that time, London streets were without pavement. Once, Lord Chesterfield, he met a person in the way who said, "I never give the wall to a scoundrel." But Lord Chesterfield replied, "I always do." This victory of Lord Chesterfield was more lasting. He concludes the essay by stating that the lift man also might have followed the foot of Lord Chesterfield instead of punishing the man. I do hope you have understood this entire lesson. In case you have any doubts, you can comment below. And do keep watching for more videos and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you and stay safe.